YOLK Podcast, and we're here with Keoni Aricayos, our guest host, who will introduce.
Hello, it is my pleasure to introduce a beauty professional with over 40 years of experience in the business. It is my mother, your friend, J.SCISSORHANDZ. Woo! Club. All right. So, there we go. Nice. All right. So, welcome to the
Well done.
show. Do you want to start from the beginning and tell me sort of where your journey of these 40 years begins?
Well, I think that there's this inherent cliche that when you come from an Asian family, they have these expectations. I remember my elder brother, when my dad asked him, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And he said, "I want to be an artist." And my father says, "No, art is a hobby. You're going to be a doctor or a lawyer." I was a black sheep of the family. So even when I was really young, when I was a kid, I knew that I was the black sheep. And so a lot of the family, they went to Ivy League, schools, and they all had straight A's. My father said nobody had a B in the family.
Mm.
If there was a B in the family, he thought there was something wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, except with me, because my best grade was a C. I had D's and fails on my report card.
That's me too.
Oh, really? Yeah. And so my counselor even called me into the office and said that I wasn't going to graduate because I needed to have a C average. And so that's when I really started to study. But I was, selling things I shouldn't have been selling. I was, drinking a little. I was hanging around with a lot of gangs. And I even remembered it was really fun at 1:00 in the morning when my dad was asleep. I would jump into his car and push it out of the driveway and then coast down the street and turn the engine on. And I would go pick up one of my girlfriends, or I would just go alone, and I would be tagging on, freeways and trains and walls and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was dangerous because I would get into altercations with homeless people. And I remember running across the freeway. My girlfriend was crying because she was so scared, and I was laughing. And I was hiding in bushes from homeless people, and
Oh my goodness.
under the freeway, under the bridges, and it was like really crazy. And I loved getting into fights. If there was ever a fight at a club or a party, I was always in the middle of it.
See,
yeah.
it's so funny. This is so shocking because this is such night and day from my mother that I grew up with, so straight edge. I felt like we were always, I mean, yeah, you can say it's the Asian experience of, grades are important, stay studious, work hard, do the extracurriculars and all that. It's so funny this other side that we never really knew growing up also,
Well,
but have no idea.
Yeah, and that was actually by design. Like, I made sure as a mother, that was not your mother.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so funny because growing up, I remember I used to do little comic books. I used to try to write those as well, but I remember being told that art is a hobby. And I remember being told about our uncle wanting to do that, and that, hey, you should, luckily I was good at science and stuff. But no, I used to love art, doing little comics. Do you remember the comic book that I had made that we recently talked about? That I had I drew it because a lot of my friends at the time were like really into Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, oh, I want to make my own spin-off. I'm gonna do one too that they're all gonna love. So I was like, mine will be based off of tigers, and I really thought that was so cool. And then you want to tell it? You want to tell him how I came home crying?
Because the boys at school were making fun of his comic book. And his comic book was called Tiger Balls.
Oh my God.
Tiger Balls.
Keoni, it's not what you think.
No, that's good.
Yeah,
that's a good spin-off of Dragon Ball Z. Tiger Balls.
Yeah, I didn't understand. We were so innocent. I had no idea what, I thought it was such a great idea. But
Yeah.
now looking back, I was laughing recently, like tiger balls. Like, how did you
You
keep
were
a
so
straight face?
innocent, so
How
I
did
didn't
you?
even want to explain it to you. And I'm like, I promise it's not what you think.
Uh,
I mean, so like,
we,
What would you say to him now if you had a chance to say about it?
I think that's another story. That's another show. That's
Okay.
another show.
uh,
So, anyways, when I was really little, when I was a toddler, I think just like a lot of little girls, I would play with my mother's makeup, and she let me have at it. I put lipstick and eyeshadow and powder on my face, and it was so much fun. I felt really pretty. I felt like a grown up,
And how old were you?
like 3.
Yeah. Wow. That's
When I was
amazing.
maybe
Yeah.
5 or 6, I was collecting rocks in the backyard.
Mm.
And I was grinding them, and I had powders of different color. I was grinding brick, which was, like a reddish pink color, and that was blush.
Mm.
I had contour and powders for different complexions. And
did you
then when
actually
I was
ever
in,
apply it to your face? Did you ever like put it on and wear it?
I did try it on. And then, and then when I was, in high school, I became really interested in hair.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so I told some of the boys in school that I can cut their hair. And so they said, "You? No, thanks." And I said, "No, I'm only going to charge you $5." And when I said that,
They all liked it.
they said, okay, they let me cut their hair. So they would come over after school, and I would cut their hair in the backyard. And a lot of them would ask me to cut their hair every month,
Oh
which
my
made me feel really good. One day I was having dinner with my dad, and he asked me what I wanted to do after high school. So I
Mm.
said that I'm not sure. I might want to get my cosmetology license. And so then he said, "Well, why don't you do that then?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm not sure. I might want to do something else. I have a lot of interests." He says, "If that's one of your interests, then go and get your license, because it's always good to have things to fall back on." And he said, "Look at me. I'm an attorney. I have my real estate license, my broker's license, my insurance license. So I'm glad that I got my license, because it's probably, it's definitely one of my passions. And I love what I do." And when I was in beauty school, though, I hated it
Why is
because
that?
we had to do a certain number of wet sets, like 250 or 300 wet sets before we graduate.
What's a wet set?
What's a wet set?
It
Yeah.
looked like an old lady's, like a roll, when you put rollers, it looked like an old lady's hairstyle.
Uh-huh.
And I was very creative, and the teacher wouldn't give me credit.
Mm.
She said, "I'm not going to give you credit for that," because it was a little, I also, during that time, I was so young and I was very irresponsible. So was always late. I didn't always go to class. I had so many parking tickets. Um, I was on probation, and I almost got expelled. There
Oh
was one day
goodness.
where I said that I wanted to go to Hawaii. And so it was really short notice. And then they said, "Well, you're on probation, but do
Mm.
what you want." So I said, "Okay." And then I ran out, packed my bag. I was headed to the airport, missed my flight.
Oh.
So I went back to
Oh.
school, and the students all told me, "It's a good thing you came back," because they said that the admissions came down to the front desk, and they said that when she comes back to school on Monday, let her know she's been expelled.
Oh.
So luckily,
Whoa.
I stuck with it. I graduated a little longer than most people, but I did graduate, and I heard how difficult the state board exam is. So I was studying, I was eating, sleeping the exam, and there was an earthquake during the exam, which was nerve-wracking for a lot of
Oh
people.
my
But for me, every part of the exam was a breeze. So I
Oh,
knew I
nice.
passed. It was like super smooth. And
When was this roughly? Like what years?
this was when I was, well, I was 19. When I got my
Mm.
license, I was 19 years old. And my father had a client who was from Japan, but he owned 6 hair salons. So he said, let me ask him if he'll give you a job.
Oh, wow.
So I worked in his high-end barbershop as his apprentice, and it was a beautiful shop. It was really very modern, and it was really cool. So I learned a lot from him. And then after the apprenticeship, I worked in one of his salons there. But during that time, I worked 3 jobs.
Right.
Worked
Yeah.
at the salon 6 days a week from 9 a.m. until about 5 or 6. And then I worked at a cosmetics counter and I worked a closing shift. I want to close that around 7:30, 8. And then I would run over to my mom's. My mom owned one of the largest and one of the oldest Japanese restaurants in LA. And I was bartending for her 6 or 7 times a week. So I was working 7 days. And people would say to me, oh, you're so young, like you should be having fun. But I was always working. It kept me out
Yeah.
of trouble.
Made
Uh,
money.
yeah, I was making money, saving money.
I don't understand how you dated.
Well, I was
Because you
I was
obviously
married. I was getting married, and I was having children, starting
my
a
God.
family.
Hello, that's me. Yeah.
I don't know how you
That's
had
when I
time.
enter. That's when I enter the.
You
Yeah.
said-
And so I was talking to a friend of mine who said, my mom also does hair. He said, my mom is almost 90 years old. All her clients have died, and she has 1 or 2 clients left. So she works in her shop once a month. And even though I wasn't interested, I saw an opportunity. So I thought, do you think your mom might want to rent that shop to me? And I will keep it clean, pay the bills. I'll pay her rent every month so she can make money. And she can also be a client. And he talked to her, and it was a no-brainer. And so,
Oh wow.
yeah. And then I remember too, when I was 19, when I first got my license, my mom said, now that you have your license, I'm going to get you a shop. And I said, no, I didn't have the professional experience. And she goes,
Yeah.
oh, you should have your own business, like open up a salon. And I
Yeah.
said, no way, I don't have any experience. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's so
many
scary.
people would not say no to that, having a parent pay for a shop, but you said no.
I said, no, but you're right. They
Oh.
wouldn't.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
that's smart.
I mean that takes a level of confidence, for sure to do that. That's
Well, I think also, yeah, I think also knowing my mom, she'd probably kill me if it didn't do well. I don't know that. But yeah, I really wanted to make sure I had experience in all aspects of the business. And so, yeah, so after I had my kids, oh, and then I was renting this shop. I remember it was very difficult to build a business. And people were telling me that when you start a business, it takes a couple years. Just hang in there. And people that I thought were my friends also didn't support me, which was kind of hurtful. I thought everybody gets their haircut. But a lot of people that I thought were my friends never came, never
They
supported
didn't,
me.
but they probably wanted a free haircut.
I had some of those too.
Oh man.
Yeah, I had some of
Yeah.
those too.
Oh man.
And so then, yeah, it was difficult in the beginning. But I slowly started to build up the business, and it was a lot of fun. I
This
loved
was the shop on Pico?
Yep. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I was doing my marketing, well, until I hired like a salon coordinator who was doing all that, but I was active in a lot of that.
Wow.
And I think I told you too once that I even had a homeless person. I invited her in
Aw.
to the shop,
Uh-huh.
and I remember she was outside of the shop, and I started talking to her. And it was interesting because she had no idea she was homeless. Yeah.
That's
Oh
I
no.
could tell she was obviously homeless. So
Yeah.
I invited her in, and I whispered to everybody that I'm going to invite this woman in. We gave her a plate of food after we washed her hair, and we gave her a makeover. And so, long story
I mean,
short, I did have, the owner of that property needed to sell because she was getting into some debt. And that was devastating for me.
Mhm.
And I remember my mother came in because she knew that that was no fault of my own. And she said to me, and this was good advice. She said that when something happens to you in life
Mhm.
that's not your fault, she says, don't worry, because there's going to be another opportunity for you. And
And that's when you said yes to your mom's offer.
oh, no, no,
Okay.
no. I was working hard and saving my own money.
Oh,
I'm very independent. So I started another business. You know, I never got a loan. I started the other business, and then I'm also now in my third situation, which is I'm actually not supposed to talk about it, but it is a high-end situation.
third venture.
Yes.
Mhm.
But I've
No,
had
but here,
I've been
no,
in
I will say, speaking to my mother's character, kind of going back to her, like cutting hair for homeless and things like that. Like she's always been that kind of person.
Mhm.
Growing up, she's always kind of instilled those things in us, and it's genuine too, because nowadays people do that and they record themselves, and it's all
Oh
for
yeah.
some sort of clout. But no, she was doing this before any of the social media, just doing this out of the kindness of her heart. I remember growing up, going to school. I remember, we're all getting into the car, and she just had like a cup of water, and she, put it on somebody else's windshield and started cleaning it. And I was like, "Oh, why are you doing that?" She's like, "Oh, because just
I
to do
love it.
something nice.
Pretty good.
Yeah, just to do something nice, just to clean their windshield." And I was like, "Well, how are they going to say thank you?" And she was like, "Well, they don't need to know. You don't need to get the gratitude instead of appreciation always." To do a nice thing. And I was like, wow, you know what? And that's something that definitely stuck with me, that I always remember. Like, so she's always been that kind of person.
after
Keoni.
work, sometimes I
Uh-huh.
would take my staff and we would go eat dinner, and then we would go to the dirtiest cars in the parking lot, and we would always clean their windshield, laughing and giggling and thinking what they're going to think when they get into the car and their
They can
windshield is
see.
crystal clear.
Look,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, before
I,
social media too. So she's just doing this just for fun. This is great.
but I don't understand if she does it now because there's so many crazy people right now. I feel like if she did it now, they will attack her and they're gonna like, what are you
But I could fight
doing?
back.
Oh yeah, that's right. When you say fight back, we're talking like you got skills or like classes, like are we saying martial artists? That's a stereotypical thing, but are you talking about
Raised on the
self
streets,
defense?
raised,
Oh yeah, I've gone to so many fights.
So you just learned on the how you call it
she's
on
just
the
street
game.
experience.
Yes, yes, street.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You didn't take classes. That's what I'm saying.
I have
Oh, okay, okay. Which one did you choose?
boxing.
Boxing. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but
Yeah, yeah.
even before I took boxing classes,
Wow.
I could defend myself. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
she's scrappy. She's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, she's not. She's
that's
strategic.
another show.
Strategic. Yeah. I'd rather like have you hang out with me at night then. My husband doesn't fight. Okay. Um, what else you
So
yeah.
in my line of work, I have also done, a lot of aspects of the business because I've always set goals. I go to a lot of the trade shows. I'm big on education, and one of my goals was to be on stage doing hair, which I've done. I
Hmm.
was doing hair demonstrations, and do you remember when I was in that hair competition?
I do. I think the theme was chameleon.
Oh,
And the theme was chameleon, and this is just completely unbiased. Not just that she was my mother, but she genuinely had the best one out there. I still remember it. I think you had somebody with like blonde hair and then like a darker color underneath,
no,
and
You
when
no,
you
started?
that's
combed
something
it,
else. No, that's something
oh,
else. No, this is
oh,
we were at the competition was at a big hotel. You were 5 years old,
oh,
and
this is a
Craig
different
was three
competition
years
then.
old. And at this age, that's an age where kids cannot stand still.
Yeah.
And remember, I had a tall Japanese model, and she had like stiletto heels on. She was like over 6 feet tall. She had a black kimono on. Remember? She had
Oh,
long
I
black
do. Yeah,
hair.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
And I felt like I was being grilled by the judges. Okay.
Uh-huh,
They were
uh-huh.
asking me questions. And so I was answering the judges' questions.
Mhm.
And then I remember looking in the audience and I remember seeing you and my daughter, your little sister in the audience. And it was so cute because, like I said, this is an age where kids can't sit still.
And they
running
did
around.
that.
Yeah.
And both of them were like literally at the edge of their seats and their eyes were really big. And you were like nervous for me.
Yeah.
You were like almost like you're holding your breath. I saw the look on both of your faces.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
It was really cute.
They're so focused.
Yeah, but I was like, wow, that I know that they
feel
love me
like
and they understand what I was going through.
I think we were. I don't think we were that super rowdy. I think I know.
Oh,
I think
you guys were
mentioned
not rowdy. So I'm saying
Yeah,
most
yeah.
kids, other kids.
Oh,
well mannered because you guys didn't move around and cause trouble. You basically just watched your mom live life.
I mean, but hey, I mean, one of our fondest memories growing up for sure was, in that Pico salon. Like my sister and I remember always being that, we grew up in that salon and it was just, super, I think is relatable to a lot of, kids when their parents have a small business, whether it's a shop, who knows, whatever it might be. But being in that back room, hopping up onto the massage table and like watching like PBS and things like that and reading or doing we did Kumon, which I think is pretty a lot of kids. It's crazy that that's still a thing.
It is.
I mean, to be fair, I'll probably make my kids do Kumon as well. But sharing that suffering together. No, I'm kidding. No, it was great. We learned a lot. But yeah, to be able to do that and spend so much time there, and we had a lot of fun running around outside, and we do miss the salon. But
and
yeah,
then sometimes, for training purposes, I would, bring them down and he would have a facial or a pedicure.
Him?
Yeah.
Oh, so
but I've also colored his hair and permed him. He was I permed his hair.
So wait, was he the guinea pig or what?
He's been blonde. He's had highlighted hair. He's perm. Yeah, both my kids.
Yeah.
The perm, was that by you just sat and took it?
I didn't think I know. I mean, I was little. I don't think I know. I knew what it was.
Had every hair color.
Yeah.
They're lucky.
Yeah.
No, one thing for sure, I think growing up, we always had like the good shampoos and conditioners. My mother always splurged. We never had the best of the best for sure. Yeah.
But it leads into the skincare a little bit, right? So how do you when people do this the beauty regimen and stuff, they ask you so many questions, right? Your customers, your clients.
But it's not even beauty questions. Like I'm a hair therapist. Like we talk about relationships. We talk about everything because it's you build your trust with your clients. So we talk about everything, everything.
But so, like, what is your favorite service? Well, so like, what is your favorite service? Because you've been doing like not just you went to school for cutting hair, but you did massages and facials and pedicures. Like, so what was your favorite service out of all those that you did?
My favorite, I love that human connection. Like I like hair. Hair is where I have the most experience. I do love doing hair. I love the feel of hair, and I love the human connection that comes with it. I love that interaction I have, the relationship I have with my clients. But I also I would say doing facials is also high up there.
What was there a client that you had to cancel only because you wanted to, not because you had to? Like how do I say this? Did they bug you? Like, how my hairstylist says they call him on Thanksgiving to do hair on Thanksgiving or Christmas Day. Like they have no back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
I always worked on holidays.
Yeah. No, she's a hustler. She's a hustler. Yeah.
Thanksgiving, I don't think anyone has ever asked me to work on Thanksgiving. I probably would though if it was early in the morning. But yeah, I would work on Mother's Day, New Year's.
Oh my gosh.
I always
she'll get up at like 3 a.m. on her day off to go cut someone's hair before they catch a flight at like 5, whatever. Like
I remember I had a client who didn't like the tone of her hair that she had done somewhere else, and it was 2 a.m. I was in the shop.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but I often wake up at 4:35 in the morning for work.
Okay, so that brings up a different question. when they went somewhere else, were they your client before and then they just went somewhere else out of convenience and then they came back and you had to fix it? Did you ever have that
Oh
situation?
yeah, yeah.
So
Where a client went somewhere else and then
came back to you.
they weren't happy with their hair
Yeah.
and they came to me to fix it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you get?
That's what that was at 2 in the morning.
Oh, do you get
Yeah.
Where do you get this energy to
Yeah.
do all this? Where do you get all that energy?
I think the energy comes from just the passion. It almost doesn't feel like work to me. I look forward to seeing my clients, you know?
Yeah. Would you say that's like your most favorite aspect of what you do?
I mean,
Or what would it be?
yeah, I would say it's the relationship and the connection I have with my clients. Sometimes like when they come in, it's like a party. We're just laughing, almost on the
Yeah.
ground laughing. And sometimes we're talking about something so deep and so personal and emotional. We're crying.
Do you have a
Yeah.
disclaimer when they do that? Like, I'm not an expert on relationships, but you can talk to me. Like, do you have a?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Oh,
sometimes I've had clients texting me about, someone they're interested in and dating, and they're like, okay, I just texted her this, like, now what should I say? You know, you
yeah.
know, but, so it's more than just hair
Copy.
for me. It's more than just hair. I
So what
feel
did you
like
get the
I'm
nickname
also
J.
really
Scissorhands?
lucky,
Oh.
you know,
Mhm.
I think I'm really lucky with the clients that I have.
What'd
They're
you
really
say?
good people.
Yeah.
But another experience I've also had was also, work managing high-end salons, like in Beverly Hills and consulting and I think I've pretty much done it all.
What did you want to say, Keoni?
Oh no, just wondering. So how did you get the nickname J. Scissorhands?
So this was during the pandemic, and a client of mine asked me to cut his grandson's hair. So we were on lockdown. Were we on lockdown? Oh no, we just couldn't work
Yeah.
indoors. So
Okay.
at my work, they gave me a pergola area, which was outdoors. And so that's where I was taking my clients, up on the pergola area. And I had this little boy in a regular chair. There was no hydraulic. So it was killing my back because he was so small. And this
Yeah.
boy, his grandson could not sit still. He wanted to rip the cape off. He wanted to run. When he felt my hands touching his hair, he was shaking his hair. And
Oh no.
his mother, and the grandfather were both there. The mother handed him her cell phone so he could watch a cartoon or play video games or something. And he just, he couldn't sit still. So I thought to myself, wow, I need to work really quickly,
Yeah.
And so I told them, and I told the mother, I've been doing this for a long time. So don't worry. I'm about to work so quickly, and it's going to be unstructured, but it's going to look really good. So she said, okay. And I could tell she didn't really know what I was talking about. And so then I started to cut his hair very quickly. Okay. And I've done this before. I've done it whenever I've had to do it.
Because
and I can adjust my speed if I need to. So here I was working very quickly. And just as I was doing that, the wind started to kick up. And it was like when you see on a tennis court in a parking lot, you see a swirl of leaves chasing each other.
Yeah.
It was like that. I was cutting this boy's hair. The wind started kicking up and swirling around us. There was hair clippings going all around, and I could see the hair clippings swirling around and coming up.
Oh
And
my
I was
goodness.
just like determined to finish as soon as possible. So I didn't even look at the hair clip. I was just focusing on the hair. So I'm doing this and I just see the hair clippings. And then I looked up and I saw the grandfather and the mother, and they were like, oh my God. This is like Edward Scissorhands. And
Yeah.
it was so funny after I thought about it. And
Yeah.
I had another situation with another little boy who also couldn't sit still. So I also told that mother, I said, okay, don't worry. I'm about to go. I'm going to cut his hair really quickly. and it's going to be unstructured, but it's going to be look really good. I said, don't worry. So she said, okay. So I started cutting this little boy's hair, and she would text me after, and she would say, like a month later, and she goes, okay, it's time for another haircut. We need the Scissorhands special. So
Yeah.
how I got the nickname. Yeah.
Totally makes sense. That is so funny. I love that. That totally makes sense. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's how I got that nickname. And I like Edward Scissorhands, the movie.
Yeah. I think the first time I got my hair cut by someone who wasn't my mother or myself was like in high school. It was like for my senior pictures. And I hated it. I was like, oh, I wish my mom cut my hair. I remember that. Yeah. I mean, even now to this day, if I have like an important thing coming up, I'll have my mother cut it. I remember flying to LA for like briefly before my wedding. And yep, she cut my hair in the alleyway under a light. We were outside and just did it quick. I remember, yeah, just always. Yep, yeah. No, she's always there for my important moments to cut my hair.
Hair is important.
And from that point on, I need my most trusted hairstylist to do it.
Oh God.